Hey guys, I'm Seth Perkins. Today we're on the cutting room floor here at White Feather Meats. We want to show you how to cut and trim a beef tri-tip. One of our favorites, and not only are we going to show you how to cut it and trim it, we're going to take this one to the grill. So let me grab a hind quarter. What we have here is an entire hind quarter of beef. Now keep in mind that this animal was split in half. So this is just one hind quarter. This is the shank. This is the short loin, flank, round, sirloin. This is where you would extract the strip steaks, tenderloin here on the inside. If you watch our how to cut a beef video, which we previously posted a few months back, you can see us cut all those different items. However, today we're going for the tri-tip. So check this out. Our cutlery arsenal, we're gonna use our Victorinox 6-inch boning knife that we have on our website, everybody knows about. We're also gonna use an 8-inch breaking knife, then of course our 10-inch polished steel. So what I'm gonna start with first is the 8-inch breaking knife and our meat hook. I like to start making a cut right here at the top of this flank. Pulling this flank down, removing this rose meat. Once we get this rose meat removed, we'll pull the flank off, just like that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to extract the tri-tip out of this. This is a cut that is not hugely popular on, throughout the United States and all different areas. Kind of gained popularity on the West Coast, moved to the East Coast, kind of into the Midwest, I should say. This cut we've grown to love. It's absolutely delicious. It's very economical. You can feed a lot of people with it. Super tender, super juicy. Just one we really enjoy. So folks have been asking for more cutting/cooking videos, and we thought this one would be a good one to start out with. So let's just get started. There's a knuckle right here, and what we're pulling is going to be the beef sirloin tip, the round tip portion. So we just use our 8-inch breaking knife. We pull that down. And when you extract this, you want to get as much of the tri-tip as you possibly can. And I'll show you how to do that. You have to take your knife and start it right here along this side. If you don't do this part, you'll lose a bunch of the tri-tip during this process. So you can see there's a seam right here, and I'm just using the tip of my knife, continuing pulling down with that downward pressure that we talk a lot about. You can see that right here is the bottom tip of that tri-tip. We want to make sure that we get all of it out of there, so we just use the tip of our knife, following it all the way down and out, just like that. Being careful that you don't cut too far into this portion right here, because located right behind that is your sirloin, so keep that in mind. Now what we want to do, remove the knuckle. Start by peeling this cap off this round tip. If you follow that seam, you can slowly use your knife and a little pressure, and you can peel that right out. So now that we've removed the round tip, we're going to get started extracting this tri-tip. We will remove some of this excess fat. As you can see, the grains are, you can starting to reveal those inside that tri-tip there. Now when we grill a tri-tip, we like to take quite a bit of this external fat off. The reason being is that in today's demonstration, we're going to be using a Traeger pellet grill. So with a pellet grill application, we feel like it's better to remove the majority of this fat. It doesn't render down quite as much inside a pellet grill. If you were using a charcoal grill, you could maybe leave, a little bit more of this fat cover on there. This is how we like to do it, so that's how we're going to show you. Be careful that you don't cut into the meat too much, but remove all the exterior off of this tri-tip. So once that portion's done, we want to remove the silver skin, if there's any of that on there. As you can see, it's starting to take shape now. We'll flip it over and we'll fillet it like a fish using our 8-inch breaking knife. And we're pretty well trimmed up. So that is how you extract a beef tri-tip from a hind quarter and trim it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna season this, and we are going to use our Bearded Butcher black seasoning on this. It's a coffee rub, has a little bit of molasses in it. Some people have referred to it as a candy coating for meat. Absolutely phenomenal on a cut like this. And as you can see, these grains are running this way. So we're gonna season it, we're gonna smoke it low and slow, probably at 165 to 175 degrees. We're gonna take this to an internal temp of about 110. Then we're gonna crank our temperature up to 500, taking it to an internal temperature of 135. At that point, we'll pull it, we'll let it rest, we'll slice it against the grain, guaranteed to be absolutely amazing. So come with me, let's throw it on the grill. All right, processing happened right over here with this tri-tip. Before we head to the smoker, we're gonna put some Bearded Butcher blend seasoning on it. Today, we're using our black blend, available in a 5.5 ounce bottle on our website or a 4.5 pound bucket. So we highly recommend using our black seasoning on red meats. It pairs very, very well. It's a coffee rub, has molasses in it. Like we mentioned before, as a friend of ours described it, a candy coating for meat. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna open this package and start seasoning. As you can see with this tri-tip, we removed the silver skin, we removed a good portion of the fat. This is going on our Traeger pellet smoker, so it's important to remove a good portion of that before you do the seasoning process. So you can be pretty liberal with your seasoning. You can't really over season it on something like this. This has been sitting out at room temperature for about an hour. It's important to bring the internal temperature of this cut up. That way everything cooks evenly. So we're just gonna go ahead and coat this on all sides with our black seasoning. And you can see that the seasoning is actually starting to soak into the meat a little bit. And the salt in this seasoning will pull a little bit of the moisture out of the cut. So, and you can see it's gonna almost have a little bit of a wet look to it as it sits here. Like I said, you can't really over season it. Just get a nice coating on there. And since we created the black seasoning, this is by far our favorite for a cut like this. And tri-tips are something that we've grown to love and enjoy. So at this point, we're ready to go on the Traeger. Haha, brr, it's 15 degrees in Ohio. But you know what? That's not stopping us from grilling. Traeger, Ironwood 885. It's been preheated. We have it set to 165 degrees. And we're gonna show you how ridiculously easy it is to make a tri-tip and to do it on the Traeger pellet grill. Meantime, I'm gonna open this thing so I can get warm because it's freezing out here. Pretty simple process. Like I said, the grill is set at 165 degrees. We are simply going to take the tri-tip, place it on our grate, take our meat probe, putting it into the thickest portion of this tri-tip. And what we want to do is we want to take the internal temperature of this tri-tip up to about 110 degrees. When it reaches 110 degrees, we're gonna crank this grill up to 500. 500 will probably only take, I'm thinking, maybe 10 to 15 minutes. We're gonna pull this at a finished internal temp of 135 degrees. And then we will let it rest, cut it against the grain, and serve it. And we'll tell you, give you some examples of some ways to serve it, some different dishes and things like that you can make. So, and just for a little added measure, we're gonna put just a little bit more seasoning on there because, hey, why not? There it is. We're gonna let this baby rest. And we're also going to hit super smoke mode. We have this bin filled with hickory pellets. So this one's getting smoked over hickory wood. When it reaches 110, we're gonna crank our temp. See you then. All right, guys, so here we are inside our Traeger room at White Feather Meats. The beauty of a Traeger is that we can use the app on our phone. So we've reached 110 degrees internal temp, which took about an hour. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm simply going to raise the temperature of the grill up to 500, and then I'm going to hit set temp, and we will wait for the probe to reach 135. We'll pull the tri-tip and let it rest. We just reached 135 degrees internal temp on our tri-tip. So let's go ahead and open the grill and let's check it out. Boy, doesn't that look good? You can see the juices coming out of it, sizzling away. That looks fantastic. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna pull this off and we're gonna take it inside and slice it. Total time so far has been just under an hour at 165 degrees grill temp. We reached an internal temperature of 110. We cranked our grill to 500, and then it only took about another 15 to 20 minutes to get it to an internal temp of 135. So that's where we're at now. Let's go ahead and pull the probe out. We're gonna go ahead and dial our grill back just to keep things warm. You never know, we might want to cook supper on here later. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull this tri-tip off. Look at that beautiful custom cutting board a friend of mine gave to me. Looks like a nice place to put that tri-tip. And look at that. Just absolutely gorgeous cut of meat that we're gonna take inside and slice up to see how we did.
I made sure I showed up for the taste test.
The old red beard.
It's the only reason why.
There he is.
It's the only reason why I'm here.
Okay, so the tri-tip has rested for about 10 minutes. Now for the slice and the taste test. Just start going against the grain here. You can see the juice is just running out of this tri-tip, pouring all over my cutting board. But that just looks amazing.
It's one of the things we really love about the Traeger is the fact that you retain all of those natural juices.
The cool thing about cooking a tri-tip is that you can feed a lot of people with one of these. It's a fairly inexpensive cut. You can just slice it, serve it like this. You can make all kinds of, you can make beef tacos, you can make quesadillas, whatever you want, you can do with this tri-tip. So I think at this point, we're just gonna go ahead and give it a sample.
Tastes like amazing steak. It's got some of those kind of brisket qualities, but it's so much easier in a shorter period of time than a brisket. It's incredible. Oh, the smoke, bam, right there.
That hickory smoke.
And then I get the black seasoning, and I just get this rich, beefy flavor, right? And it's just like
so juicy.
Tender and juicy. What pellets did you use?
This was the hickory pellets. Believe it or not, inside this tri-tip, the grain actually turns a little bit. So if you want to slice it one direction, then kind of turn it and slice the other so that you keep going against the grain. But this is delicious. Make for an excellent meal. Too bad YouTube doesn't have smell-o-vision. Get all those senses going. And that black seasoning, wow.
There's absolutely nothing preventing you from having this exact same experience at home by simply buying the seasoning, clicking the link in our description for a Traeger. Takes you to the website, and you can do all this at home, have the exact same experience that we're having. time and again, over and over and over.
Absolutely. So what we wanted to do with this video is we wanted to show you where the tri-tip comes from on the beef carcass, how it's cut, how it's trimmed, and how we cook it and ready to eat. So there it is. Don't forget, we're the Bearded Butchers right here, White Feather Meats, Creston, Ohio. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit that bell for notifications, follow us on Facebook, Bearded Butcher Blend on Instagram. There's a bunch more to come. Thanks for watching, guys.